Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing a lesson plan that I created for my community-based project. The teacher that I spoke with for my community-based project had a few problems with her class. The first one being that students become too talkative at times and miss out on instructions, so she has to repeat herself. Also, some students have trouble keeping up with their materials, and third, she has to make sure students are on the correct websites and aren't abusing technology. So this teacher's classroom has access to a smart board, which she uses every day, and they also have access to Chromebooks. So she has to be diligent to make sure students aren't being distracted on other websites when they're using the Chromebooks. So this classroom teacher's name was Miss Wiedemeyer. Her class is 5th grade. They're almost all aged 10, 11, and she teaches English language arts and social studies. The lesson plan that I created aligns with 5 Common Core standards and 1 ISTE standard. So the first Common Core standard is summarize multi-paragraph text providing details to demonstrate understandings of the central message or topic. They're going to be able to use background knowledge and details, including illustrations, charts, and graphs, to make inferences about what happens in a text. Third, demonstrate reading comprehension of age and grade appropriate text by speaking or writing. Fourth, compare and contrast similar themes of 2 or more texts of the same genre. And 5, participate in collaborative conversations following class-created discussion guidelines to expand upon conversations. The ISTE standard that it follows is 1.7b, multiple viewpoints. So there were 3 tools that I used to try to combat the problems that she has in her class. The first one is free online books. One site where these free versions of books are available is readanybook.com. The book that we're focusing on for this lesson plan is Charlotte's Web. So the idea is that most students will have access to a physical copy of the book, but since many of them have trouble keeping up with materials, this will allow them to have access to it online, even if they forget the book at home or in their locker, or if they lose it, or if you just don't have enough copies for everyone in your class. So in the instance where they are on their Chromebooks to read the book, I recommend using an app called GoGuardian. The teacher that I spoke with loves to use this app anytime the students are on the Chromebooks because she can see what everyone's looking at from the comfort of her own desk without having to walk around. When you walk around the classroom and look over their shoulder, you can only see what one student is doing at a time, but this way you can monitor all the students at the same time. So here you can see there's the class name there at the top, and then there's a little block of each student's name and what they're looking at on their Chromebook and what website they're on. The third technology tool that I would use is Padlet. Padlet's a website where educators can create boards with a question or topic, and students can contribute to the board using text and photos. So in this example, we've posted Charlotte's Web chapters 1 through 6 details, and the students are just getting on and posting a few details that they remember reading from the section of the book, chapters 1 through 6. So now I'm going to get into the actual activity portion of the lesson. Students will learn to practice skills in reading comprehension, reading literature, and collaborative communication as we focus on the book Charlotte's Web. This is just a picture of the book cover and the movie cover. So each day that week, the students are going to be assigned to read a section of chapters from the book. Each one will have a physical copy if possible, but they will also have access to a free online version of the book. That's going to help ensure that students are able to keep up with the reading materials and always ensure that they have access to them. The students will be given 20 minutes in class to read and can finish reading outside of the class if needed. If students don't have a physical copy of the book, they can use the Chromebook to visit a free online version. While they are using their Chromebooks, I'll use the GoGuardian app to monitor their activity. Using the app will make it easier for me to see the screens of each student's device without having to leave the desk. That way I can make sure they're staying on track and they're not distracted by other websites. After reading each section of chapters, the students will write a half-page summary over what they read. When they come to class, we're going to watch the movie up to where we left off in the book, And after the movie, we'll have a 10-minute class discussion comparing and contrasting details and events from the book versus the movie. And then the students are they're gonna take turns speaking and listening to their peers' contributions. The students will log into Padlet at the end of the lesson, and they're going to find the Charlotte's Web chapters blank through blank predictions tab, depending on what section of the book we read. And the students will infer and predict what will happen in the next section of chapters and upload it to the board. Using Padlet will help students keep track of the assignment and eliminate the risk of losing it or forgetting the assignment somewhere else. It also makes it easier for me to read and assess what they know when it's all in one place, and it makes it easier for me and the students to keep track of what chapters they're supposed to be reading each night. So here's just a lesson breakdown for each day of the week. You can see on Monday, they're going to read chapters 1 through 6 and write a half-page summary about what happened in that section of the book. On Tuesday, we're going to watch the movie up to where chapter 6 leaves off. And then we'll have that 10-minute class discussion comparing and contrasting details and events from the book versus the movie. Then they will get out their Chromebooks and log into Padlet and post a prediction of what will happen in chapters 7 through 12. After they've posted their prediction, they can begin reading chapters 7 through 12 and write a summary once finished. Wednesday, we're going to do the same thing, focusing on what they read the night before. We're going to watch the movie up to where they left off, have the 10-minute class discussion, get out Chromebooks, log into Padlet, post your prediction, and then begin reading the next section. And we're going to do that on Thursday as well. On Friday, we're going to finish off the movie, have our 10-minute class discussion, and we'll be done with our lesson by then. After we're done with the lesson, or even throughout the lesson, I can assess the students on how well they're meeting these standards. So to assess each of the skills, I can read their summaries and determine whether they're able to meet the standard summarized multi-paragraph text, providing details to demonstrate understanding of the central message or topic. I'm going to be looking to see if students were able to find the main points of each chapter and at least one detail from each chapter that supports the characters or the chapter's main point. I'm also going to be able to determine whether they meet the standard demonstrate reading comprehension of age and grade appropriate text by speaking or writing based on these summaries. If students don't comprehend what they read in text, they won't be able to properly summarize what they read. Another way I'm going to be able to assess them, I'm going to use Padlet. I can look at the standard, use background knowledge and details, including illustrations, charts, and graphs to make inferences about what happened in the text. The students are going to post their predictions based off of what they read in the previous chapters and use general background knowledge. For example, one student can predict that Wilbur will make friends with Charlotte and be able to trust her. This prediction could be based off of their own background knowledge and experience that sometimes friendship and trust can be found in people you least expect it from. And another student might predict that Wilbur will make more friends in a barn, especially with the new baby geese, because in the previous chapters he felt lonely and he's much younger than the rest of the animals in the barn. Lastly, I can assess their ability to meet the standard compare and contrast similar themes of two or more texts in the same genre and participate in collaborative conversations following class-created discussion guidelines to expand upon conversations. I can do that by simply listening to the class discussion and seeing which students participate. I'll specifically be listening for students to point out certain details that I noticed in them to be different or similar in each section of the movie. And they can also point out things that they notice themselves, of course. So this is the whole lesson plan. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening to that, and maybe you can incorporate